Hi. Today we are going to talk about the Tomoe Nage, which is where you flip someone over their head. We've pretty much prefaced this Tomoe Nage in the warm-ups. We've kind of built up to being ready to actually execute this sweep. It's a pretty cool move. Works pretty well. I'm a fan. So we'll go ahead and work on some of the nuances of it. Traditionally speaking, the way the Tomoe Nage is facilitated, because Tomoe Nage is actually a judo throw, is from the feet with a collar and sleeve, but we're going to do this from the ground. In order to do this from the ground, we have to understand that like the thing that doing it from the feet, so if I grab this, the thing that executing this move from the feet affords us is that because I'm flipping him over behind me, the momentum I create by sort of pulling guard in essence allows me to really get a good flip. So I'm not going to flip you over, so just be mindful of that. But it's like as I'm like stepping in, I get a big wave of momentum right away to push him up, right? Obviously in the guard, I'm not given that same immediate punch. So I have to facilitate that, right? So the first thing we have to understand is that the way the Tomoe Nage works is by getting like a really powerful amount of pressure going this way, like over my head. Which means that if I don't start by pulling guard with it, right? Like if I don't start from the feet and try to use it as a throw, then I have to facilitate that from underneath. So when you're in the Tomoe Nage, the sort of collar and sleeve guard position in general, right? And really we can call this just Tomoe Nage position. The thing we have to understand is that my control is not so much like, ha, he'll never get away. Because if I just sit here on my back with collar and sleeve, and John just like walks backwards a bunch, well, he's gonna clear our feet, right? So it's not like my control, and it's not like my offense is coming from just hanging out there and like pushing and pulling and maintaining strong like, grip. The control is going to come from the fact that he's going to have to respect getting thrown over his head at all times. Does this make sense? Like, this is very critical to understand. I have to constantly be threatening to throw him over his head. So once I get this collar and sleeve, so let's say we were in a butterfly guard, whatever, he grab my pants, he starts to stand up. Once I get him up here, I'm pulling him in. And I'm immediately, I'm immediately making him have to respect this. Even if he pushes off my chest and starts pulling back, he's like having to deal with the fact that I'm trying to throw him over his head. Right? You can ask John, like he's obviously having to respect this. Even as he gets his feet planted, he's having to deal with that. Right. Does that make sense, guys? So the first step of this is that my knees are coming into my shoulders. I'm keeping this constant pressure. I'm trying to pull a rubber band tight, essentially. Okay? All mechanically that's happening here, so I'll just do this without resistance, is my knees are just coming up. And I float. Like I said, I should be able to rest him on my feet, his hips, and just kind of chill. This should not be a difficult position to hold. If it's a difficult position to hold, you're probably not quite positionally where you need to be. Okay? Now, when I'm getting ready to take the sweep, generally speaking, I would say take them over towards the side where you have the sleeve grip. Make sure your head is out of the way, right? So if I'm here and I start trying to take him over, you'll like not take him over your own face because you're rushing shoulder in the head, right? You like won't do that because you can sort of intuit that that wouldn't be a good idea. So what'll happen is you're going for it. I got the sweep. Oh, my face is in the way. Wait, hold on. Let me just move. And then he's floating around and the thing's getting a little goofed. So be mindful that when you do this sweep, that your head wants to be on the other side. Okay? And the final thing to note is that what I'm not really doing here is taking him and like kicking him over. Because a lot of times when you try to kick, it's like, you notice how when I did that, his upper body kind of came forward too? Yeah. So if I try to kick him over, number one, it's dangerous. Number two, it actually sometimes is counterproductive. I'm going to take you over this now, okay? What I want to do is as I take him up, I'm just going to like guide my feet to the floor on that side. You guys see what I'm saying? I'm not so much trying to flip John over as much as I'm trying to complete a backward. So a visual opponent, the way it looks is from here, I'm bringing my knees in, and then I'm just kind of like making my feet go over and touch my toes to the mat. Does that make sense? I'll show that one more time on you, and then Michael will go again. So, again, you get this position, immediately start pulling him in. Immediately start making him respect this. Once I get here, I'm guiding my feet to the mat. I'm just following over. It's not really a move you have to do that fast either, because like, if you wrestle with people that are really good at this, you'll know this moment, like, where you're like, oh, I'm gonna flip. Like, I guess I'm going over. And you'll kind of intuitively just sort of tuck and protect yourself, unless you have terrible instincts, then you might die, but generally speaking. So again, the second this happens, so actually let's reset all the way, now that I think about it, let's reset to the butterfly. He grabs my pants, he starts standing up, I'm grabbing him, and I'm immediately pulling him in. I'm immediately creating this pressure, right? Once I have it, my head needs to be out of the way, so basically put his head on the side that you're not controlling. If I'm controlling the collar and sleeve on my left, or his right side, bring your head to your right. Does that make sense? I'm going to finish the sweep now? Yep. So I'm here, I'm bringing my knees in, and then I'm not trying to throw him, like kick him over. I'm just guiding my feet to the floor. And come up on top. Other thing about this is it's also the safest way to execute this sweep, because it's kind of hard to like dump them on their head if you're trying to make your feet touch the mat. Does that make sense? Like, if their head's in the way, your feet wouldn't touch the floor, so you kind of intuitively rotate them correctly. So, does that make sense, guys? Mm-hmm. So let's start out with that, and then I'm going to show kind of some, well, what if they do this stuff next. Any questions? No? All right, let's start working out. 1, 2, 3!